This is the Thursday, May 2nd, regular meeting of the City of Menifee's Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. And could we have, Ms. Jones, could we have a roll call?
Chair Faust,
Here.
Vice Chair Tremblay, Commissioner Ackerman,
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. I have asked Laz Peterson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, if we can all rise. Heart.
Thank you. Item 4 on our agenda is presentations, 4.1 Youth Basketball League recognitions.
I believe I'm going to turn that over to Miss Gabby Cow, Community Services Supervisor.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'll actually be turning the microphone over to Heather Gaynor. She is our Community Services Specialist who also helps and oversees the youth basketball and youth flag football programs.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. We are excited to share our recap of our Youth Basketball League. At this time, I'd like to invite you to come up front to take photos with our youth basketball honorees. Thank you. On March 9th, our annual Youth Basketball League concluded. This season, with the Santa Rosa Academy partnership, we were able to provide an 8-week season with an opportunity for a semi-competitive postseason championship tournament for our A, B, and C divisions. This season, we registered 218 residents and 50 non-residents, making a total participation count of 268 with a total of 31 teams. Tonight, we would like to acknowledge our division champions, top scorers, and coaches of the season. Our Division A champions, the Monstars, coached by Michael Salas, who led his team to an overall record of 10-0. The team is made up of 10 amazing players, and additionally, the Monstars represented the city of Menifee in the Inland Empire SMAF Association Youth Basketball Tournament, finishing with a record of overall 2-1. Our Division B champions, coached by Andre Smith, the Hawks, who led his team to an overall record of 10-0. The team is made up of 11 amazing players, some of which are here today. Love to see those big smiles. Thank you, B Division Hawks. All right, as they return to our seats, I will introduce our C Division champions. They were also coached by Coach Andre Smith, and the team name is the Huskies. He led this team as well to an overall victory of 10-0. This team consisted of a total of 11 players as well. Both teams that Andre Smith coached finished their season completely undefeated. Awesome. That's going to bring us into our division top scorers. Our Division A top scorer is Keelan Powers of the Black Mambas. He had a He finished with a total of 149 points for the season. Is Kaylin here? All right, I guess he could not make it. Our B Division top scorer is Xavier Smith of the Hawks with a total of 110 points. And our C Division top scorer is Ezekiel Gutierrez of the Black Mambas with a total of 97 points. Through a community survey, the following coaches were selected as our coaches of the season. Ryan Garcia for the Division A Menifee Mambas was selected for his constant motivation of his players and positive mindset. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us today. Our B Division Coach of the Year is Andre Smith, and he was selected for his dedication and passion to multiple teams. Andre, can you come up, please? Anthony Clark for the Division C Hornets was selected for always being there for his team. Unfortunately, he could not be here with us today as well. Our D Division coach of the season is Kevin Thompson. His team name was Stitch, and he was selected for coaching multiple teams in multiple divisions. And Charles Thompson for our Pee Wee Division Shooting Stars was selected for his emphasis on teamwork. Charles also coached multiple divisions. Thank you, and thank you, commissioners. Coaches, players, and parents, thank you for your support and being an instrumental part of our youth basketball league. We are honored to provide a fun, safe environment that promotes sportsmanship, builds confidence, and creates lasting memories. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I do ask that you stay at the front this time as we recognize our Community Services Department Employees of the Quarter. If I can please get the slide up. Thank you. Every quarter, we ask our department to nominate their colleagues to recognize them for their contributions to the department and the city as a whole. So for the spring quarter, we had 6 employees that were nominated. 1 part-time and 1 full-time employee was selected based on their ability to exemplify the qualities that make our department so awesome. excellent customer service abilities, teamwork capabilities amongst their peers and other divisions, and demonstrating initiative and proactiveness. It's my pleasure to introduce our part-time employee of the quarter, Richard Melrose. Richard is a community services leader 1 with us. He has been with us since 2019, helping in a variety of different assignments that has included park audits, posting picnic shelter reservation signs. He is currently with our special events team, and here are just some words from his colleagues that nominated him. Richard always has Richard always has others in mind. He shows how hard he works every duty he is given, and he never hesitates to lend a helping hand. Richard is the glue to the special events team. Another nominator said that Richard has always exceeded all 3 qualities of an employee of the quarter. He takes the time to greet everyone and helps guide customers in the right direction, whether it's at events or simply when he sees them roaming around the parking lot. He also takes the initiative to make sure everything is properly built, stored, and has always been supportive and helpful for his special events team and the CSD team as a whole, whether they ask for help or if they just simply look like they need help. Congratulations, Richard. At this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Corey Jones to introduce our full-time employee of the quarter.
Good evening. So I can't speak highly enough about our full-time employee of the quarter, Nancy Rodriguez. If you'd like to come up and accept your award. Nancy is an integral part of our CSD team. She's another awesome member of Team Magic, our administrative team at CSD. And I wrote something down so I wouldn't forget because Nancy does so much for our department. In addition to managing department special districts, parks and CIP budgets, and assisting with administrative function, Nancy also maintains a positive attitude and is always available to assist her coworkers when they need it. And because Nancy's such also a extremely large support for the parks operations, I'm going to pass it to Bryce so he can also speak how awesome Nancy is.
Yeah, thank you. It's pretty. I was ready for it. No, I wasn't going to freeze. No, Nancy is well deserving of this. Not just employee of the quarter. She's been here a little over 2 years. She's helped get ready for 25 staff reports. In those staff reports with projects and agreements is over $10 million worth of projects and agreements and landscape. Not just those things. She helps us stay on budget completely with our parks team, our facilities team, internally in that. As well as approving all our invoices and everything. So without Nancy, I'd be lost. So you're well deserving of this. So thank you, Nancy.
And commissioners, as you make your way back to your seats, I do have an agenda modification. The Complete Streets draft plan is not quite complete. So we're going to request that we modify our agenda and move that presentation to our next meeting on June 6th, where our CIP engineering team will be in attendance to provide that draft presentation. So we have no other presentations tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nix. Okay, item number 5, approval of the minutes of March 7th, 2024 PRTC regular meeting minutes. Anyone have any comments? Can I have a motion to approve? And second?
I'll second it.
Okay, minutes are approved. So no other changes then to the agenda?
No other modifications.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go to item 7, public comments, non-agenda items only. Any public comments today?
We do have one request to speak. Mike Knighton, would you approach the podium?
Good evening, guys. Originally, I'm going to talk about the property north of Gale Webb. Originally, I wanted a really nice water park there. I believe I talked to you about that, David. Changed my mind. Over spring break, I went to St. George, Utah, and I would like to bring something like the Thunder Junction All Abilities Park to Menifee. I know we're talking probably $15–20 million. Doesn't have to be the entire property. I went there with no kids. It was just me and Aaron that went. And to see the kids, hundreds and hundreds of kids. I've never seen kids in a park so happy. It was just something that's new, better, best, you know? So I know it's not something that'll happen soon. Might be 10 years out, but I like to at least put it on paper somewhere so that start looking for grants, money, you know, down the line somewhere. If you guys can all make it there, I believe Laz, you're from the area, so I don't know if you've seen it, and I believe Bryce may have visited at one time too. Take a field trip. You can go to St. George in a weekend and back. So if you could bring something back to Menifee, I think that would be pretty awesome there. I don't have time, but I'm going to take the last time and jump ahead. I believe from the original drawings to what we're going to talk about tonight for the Sun City Park, I think you guys nailed it. So thanks for taking the input there. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. Appreciate that. Item 8, discussion items, 8.1, Sun City Green Space Conceptual Design.
And I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Mitchell.
Good evening, Commissioners. So as we know, the Sun City Green Space has been something that we've been talking about for at least a couple years now. Initially, Faith Lutheran Church had approached the city saying they had this extra property, just under 2 acres of land that was kind of sitting vacant. And through the conversation, understanding and actually going through the Parks Master Plan process, there really isn't an opportunity for recreation in Sun City. And so, you know, through this partnership, we work towards applying for grant funding to acquire this land, which came through in, I want to say mid-2023, so in the process of acquiring this land. And while we're going through the lengthy process of the appraisal, land acquisition, we didn't want to hold off on moving this project forward, so we also are simultaneously looking at the design of the Sun City Green Space in Sun City. So with that being said, we did have a community meeting that took place earlier in March 4th, and we invited the community out, the people of Sun City, and we got a great turnout. I want to say definitely around, I would say 80 to 100 residents came out to kind of provide their feedback on this park space and to kind of give us some input as far as what their expectations are. Again, some of the bigger areas that we heard were things about safety and security, but then also taking a look at the amenities and trying to bring something unique to the community of Sun City where recreational opportunities are a little bit lacking at this point. So with that kind of feedback, or I'm sorry, with that background information, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to our architectural firm BMLA, Samantha Ferguson, who's here to kind of walk you through the designs that they worked towards incorporating some of that feedback with the residents of Sun City.
Good evening, Commissioners. Just to give you a quick background, BMLA, we're a firm out of Corona, but we have a lot of employees that live in the area. I lived in Menifee for 28 years. I went to Menifee Middle School. Commissioner Ackerman was one of my teachers there. So it was a sort of a nice reminiscent to come here and see him tonight. So I take this project very seriously. It means a lot to me, having lived here and still having a lot of friends and family in the area. So if you don't mind switching to the next slide, I'll just kind of jump right into the 2 designs that we came up with for this space. If you're familiar with the area, this is sort of over in the core of Sun City. it's a space wedged between the existing Faith Lutheran Church and then also some existing residences. So we have just a little under 2 acres here that we're working with. And our first concept we're calling the Sun City Loop. And so this concept draws heavily on the fitness requests that we heard at the community engagement meeting. You have sort of, we've envisioned it with these loops of experiences. So you would enter the park through the northwest corner. You come in and then you have a loop that circulates through the park, and that's your first layer, your fitness loop. If you just want to come, you want to walk your dog, basic fitness. You then have a secondary loop that is a more intense fitness, where there would be fitness stations. You can do your walking loop, you can do your fitness loop, that sort of thing. And then layered within there, we have this other element, which was another one of the big requests that we heard at the meeting, which was natural landscapes, California gardens, something that's different than the other parks in town. And so in this experience, you could have users who aren't necessarily interested in the fitness element come in and have this nature loop that they do. They can go on their nature walk. They can, look at the birds, enjoy the flowers, that sort of thing. And then centered within this design, we have this hive of picnic tables, and then we also have a shade-covered picnic area as well for more group gatherings, picnicking, that sort of thing. And then within there, also surrounding this shade-covered picnic area, we would have a rose garden, which was a pretty popular request that we got at the meeting. Moving on to the next design, we're calling this one the Sun City Creek, and this focuses more on that naturalistic request that we got. But we still do, there is still the fitness element there. So the creek idea incorporates a dry creek bed that runs through the park and creates this natural icon that will give the whole park an identity. You can come to this space, you can walk, you can look at flowers, you can bring your binoculars, you can do some bird watching, you can bring your art book, you can sit there and sketch, and essentially the park becomes a muse for the residents. There's similar features to the previous design. There's a covered picnic area. You have a more formal rose garden in this version. And then another element that we heard a lot of at the meeting would be some spots for art installations. So this could be a partnership with the Sun City Civic Association. My understanding is there's a lot of art groups there that could we could join with, and they could have a presentation space, maybe something that cycles in and out, just something to engage the community and help make this space their space as well. That covers, I think, the gist of both of these designs. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those, or any comments, I'd love your feedback.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Any comments, commissioners?
I like both designs. I think you guys did a great job. My one question is there doesn't appear to be any restrooms facilities at this park, and I would like to look into that possibility of having a restroom there. Otherwise, it looks fantastic.
Just to give you some feedback on why that is, we did get that question at the community meeting, whether or not there would be a park. The answer was no, simply due to the expense of adding a restroom. But then also the community was pretty vocal against doing that. They felt it was going to be a draw for homeless people. And then just in general, I would say as a rule of thumb for a park of this size, you typically wouldn't have a restroom. Usually you would see that somewhere where people are going to be staying for long periods of time, or you're going to have small children. Sporting events are going to be going on, that sort of thing. So some reasons why it's not included at this point.
Any other questions, Mo? I have a question. It says wrought iron fence. Is it going to be completely enclosed with a fence?
Oh, great question. So the property line between the church and the park space will have a wrought iron fence separating the two.
Any other comments, commissioners? I like the second, the creek version myself. I kind of like the idea of it's kind of a refuge, a peaceful area for local residents to go and relax and meditate. But you've also got the shelter there if they wanted to have a small event or even an art showcase. But that's my personal opinion. But both designs look wonderful. But I personally favor the creek, the city creek. Any other questions for Ms. Ferguson? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So what, Mr. Nix, what would be the next steps then on this project?
Well, this is providing this initial design phase, getting feedback from the commission, which is fantastic. So we'll continue to work with BMLA towards, finalizing some plans. These are just in the conceptual phase. And then, of course, Ms. Mitchell and Mr. Howell will continue working on, the land transfer process with Faith Lutheran Church and also securing all of our grant funding so we can continue to move forward with the actual construction process. But we'll, as we get to the next phases of the project, we'll keep the commission informed, either through our regular CIP updates or as we get a little further into like a final design.
Thank you. It's looking really like a wonderful area. Item 8.2, City Events Marketing Plan.
We have a special guest tonight. It is our Public Information and Legislative Affairs Officer, Philip Southard, for the city, who will be providing information about how the city provides communications and specifically communications related to our Community Services Department events and programs. Take it away, Phil.
All right, thank you for that introduction. Good evening, Chair Faust and Commissioners. Again, my name is Philip Southard. I'm the city's Public Information and Legislative Affairs Officer. I always know I have to take a breath before I say that title. It's a long one. It's the second longest at the city, fun fact. So tonight I'm here just to talk about our communications program, our division, our team, and then how we go about providing information out to the community here in Menifee. So to introduce the team here, we are comprised of 4 members here in the City Executive Office with myself, and then we have our Emmy Award-winning videographer, Jonathan Oaxaca, who's produced a lot of videos. I'm sure many of you have seen the documentary, The Healing Wall. That was Jonathan's video that he produced, and we actually got an honorable mention at DigiFest at the Temecula video contest, so we're very excited about that. Jasmine Wood is our public information specialist, and she is the one who puts together Menifee Matters, which is our quarterly magazine, very well recognized piece here in the city. And then Brianna Barunda is our media specialist and really focuses in our social media where we are seeing the most followers and growth in our communications here at the city. So the communications division, we do a few different things here. One, our main priority is to ensure that we're providing information to the public about our city updates, programs, events, and the services that we provide. We also manage and produce content for Menifee TV, which is our public education and government access channel. And then in my work area, I also maintain the city's legislative program. So working with our county, state, and federal officials on issues of general interest and making sure that we're advocating for the needs of the city to those entities. So how do we communicate? So one of the things that we really want to make sure that we do a good job of is diversifying our communications, because not everyone receives their information from multiple sources. We want to make sure we're reaching people where they're accessing their information. So we do that several different ways. And the first one's sort of your traditional media sources. So we work with our local media outlets. Those are listed there. The Press Enterprise is our regional daily newspaper. It's the last one left here in the region. Valley News is our community newspaper. They print weekly on Fridays, and they cover the Southwest region. And then we also have a local online blog, Menifee 24/7. We work very closely with, and they are covering news specifically here in the city of Menifee. There are some outlets outside of that we do touch periodically, but those are the main ones that we do focus with. And we'll send them press releases that will turn into news articles that they will push out through their publications. Additionally, we do have a couple of advertising contracts that we have with both Valley News and Menifee 24/7, so we do have some capacity there. We do run a lot of community services events in the Valley News, so those go in the print paper. We're actually, I think, promoting Youth Fair right now as part of that, and obviously with some of the other big events coming up in the summertime, including Independence Celebration, we'll be looking at doing additional advertising in there for that as well. Social media is that's really our biggest bang for our buck. It's you know, those are all sites that are free to use. We have the most amount of followers on all of those platforms. It's close to about 100,000 people between all of the ones that are listed there. So the city's on Facebook, Nextdoor, Twitter, which is now called X, Nextdoor, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we use those platforms as a way for us to push information out to the public on a daily basis. We're usually posting about twice a day on those. And very exciting news here tonight. We will be launching social media pages specifically for community services. So that's something we're going to be launching, I believe, next week. Community services will have their own Facebook and Instagram page, so looking forward to producing a lot more content for those pages going forward. Through the city's website, we have a service called Newsflash, and that's where residents can sign up to receive alerts that we put out through the website. Typically, we'll rerun our press releases through the Newsflash, or we may, if we know we have events or other programs coming up, we'll notice those through the Newsflash. So residents can go to our website, sign up to receive those alerts. They can get them through either text message or email. But they're also directly posted to the homepage of the website. So anytime you're interested in what's going on, what some of the news is, you can go straight to the city website, and those news items will be posted on the homepage there. We also have an email, a general email that folks can connect directly to the communications team. That is connect@cityofmenifee.us. We get a lot of questions on there. We do get a lot of community services questions about how to become a vendor. I'm interested in performing, how do I get involved? And we work very closely with CSD to make sure we're responding to those inquiries. And then the city also has an app where residents can report issues, but there's also a news section on there. So we are also always encouraging residents to download that to stay connected with the city. One of the big communication vehicles that we brought on last year is Alert Menifee. That is an emergency alert system that we utilize. It's the same one that the County of Riverside utilizes. And that is something that residents, again, can sign up for. And we will be sending, if we have, and again, a perfect example of this is the police department used this just recently with the Santa Rosa, had a bomb threat that was called in. And so they responded, but they were using Alert Menifee to notify residents what was going on, what the latest updates were. So it's been a great resource for us. They also used it for a critical missing person. I heard feedback, you know, there was a helicopter that was flying around the city that was communicating messaging, and people were having a hard time hearing it, but they were getting our messages through Alert Menifee, so they understood what was going on and what they needed to look out for. So again, the website's there, cityofmenifee.us/Alert Menifee. Really encourage folks to sign up for that. The great thing is we also, the city is now part of WIA, which allows us through the federal FEMA to send out notices through people's text messages. So if we really do have a major emergency, we need to notify folks. That system is available to us too. Even if you're not signed up for Alert Menifee, we can still push messages to you through your cell phone. So that's Alert Menifee. Genesis Protect is another system that's run through. It's the same company that provides that, but it's a map system, and so every part of Menifee is zoned into different categories. And so you can figure out through Genesis Protect where your home's located. So you may be in M5, and if there was a fire, you may see an alert saying your zone's being evacuated. So it's another system that people can utilize to stay safe, stay informed if there is an emergency and what their action orders are from emergency responders. We mentioned it earlier, but Menifee Matters is really, I think, one of the best tools that we have in the city to promote city programs and services. This is a direct mail piece. It goes to every resident in the city. It's one of the few ways that we can ensure that every person in Menifee is eventually going to have to handle a piece of mail from us. We don't have that with social. If you're not signed up for Facebook, you're not going to get our messages. But if you live here in the city, you're going to have to hold Menifee Matters in your hand at some point. So that's produced on a quarterly basis. As I said, it goes out to all Menifee residents, and that is one. It's a labor of love because it's a big project. Every time we do it, it involves all the city departments. We get a lot of great partnerships working with our teams throughout the city to get the information to put that together. But that's one we're very proud of, and we will continue to keep producing here. Just last year, we launched Menifee TV. Again, that's our public education and government access channel. It's been a great resource for us. A lot of questions, or I get the question a lot, why are we doing cable television? That seems like that's kind of something that's on the downward trend, right? People are doing more streaming platforms. You're seeing a lot of folks go away from cable. The answer to that is we receive funding from those cable companies to produce content for Menifee TV. It provides capital for us to get equipment and be able to do the videos and things that we're doing here. So while we have still those two cable channels, Spectrum Channel 1301 and Frontier Channel 25, where we're broadcasting content, we are receiving feedback, especially from our senior community, that they are watching those channels. We're also hoping to get here with MediaCom. We're in the process of working with them to bring Menifee TV onto to their subscribers. But we also live stream at cityofmenifee.us. And then all of that content that we produce, we can actually use in other ways. So even though we're using it for Menifee TV and we're showing it there, we can also repurpose it to be displayed on social media. We can also retool it to be shown as reels on Instagram. So there's a lot of different ways that we can utilize that content we're creating across multiple channels here at the city. And then again, we do have partnerships with regional organizations. We have a MOU with MSJC to share content. So we are broadcasting videos and information from their end, and they're doing the same on their end. So that's a great partnership that we have with them. We also have the same with the County of Riverside. So we broadcast Board of Supervisor meetings and other county content. And then we also have a lot of PSAs from some of the other regional agencies like Southern California Edison, Eastern Municipal Water District. So it's a great place to really kind of understand and know what's going on around the whole community. This year, we launched 2 new original series. The first one is Show Me Menifee. We just actually posted a teaser for that today for the May show. But essentially, this is a segmented show covering multiple areas of the city. So we range topics from events and programs. Community service updates is a big part of that. We have our chief chats, where the police department has an opportunity to talk about things that are going on at the police department or issues to be aware of. So that's been really received a lot of positive feedback on that program. But again, that's a perfect example of how we're leveraging Menifee TV, because we have about a 30-minute show that we broadcast on Menifee TV, but we can pull out those individual segments and show them in clips on social media. So that's kind of those bite-sized segments, and that's kind of what you see with Reels. They're all about 1:30 to 3 minutes is really kind of the audience time you want for social media posts. And so that we're able to take those segments, use them for social, but then put them in a long form for the Menifee TV cable channel. The other show we launched is the Agenda Rundown. This is a way for us to highlight some of the big news items that happen at city council meetings so people are informed and engaged. We were doing that on the front end, letting people know that the meeting was happening if they wanted to come in, all the ways they could watch it. But this is kind of a way to do it on the back end and let them know what happened. So we know a lot of people are very busy with their lives. They're taking their kids to, sports practices. They have other obligations. They're cooking dinner. They may not have time to come to city council. So this is a way for us to get that information to them. So just as a recap, there's a lot of ways that our residents can stay informed and engaged through the city. We really recommend signing up for that Notify Me through the city's website to receive news and updates to your email and text messages. Alert Menifee is absolutely something we're going to be pushing very hard over the next few months. We really want to increase our signups there to make sure people are able to access that alert information when it comes in. Again, probably the best way is to follow the City of Menifee on social media. We're posting there daily events when those are coming up. So there's a lot of great information being pushed out there. Downloading the City of Menifee app and then tuning into Menifee TV. And that concludes my portion, and I'm going to turn it over to Gabby.
Thank you, Phil, and your entire team. Our department truly appreciates the partnership with the communications team, and even though we interact almost daily, we've actually been collaborating very closely with the communications team and broadcasting team to put together the May is Water Safety Month campaign, which officially launched about an hour ago on social media. The goal is to educate the community on water safety and highlight tips for drowning prevention. Water safety tips and information will be posted weekly, and thank you, Chair Faust, for being a part of the project. So in order to promote our many events and programs, the Community Services Department has a marketing team of one, a Community Services leader to Jace Ortega, the creative brain of all of the marketing material that you see coming directly out of our department. He creates the flyers and the graphics for distribution. In order to provide ample turnaround time, we ask that the remainder of our team submit their requests no later than 30 days prior to the requested distribution date. After the request is received, it begins the creation process. So the initial draft is created based on the request form, the theme of the event, and then the event components. It is then reviewed by the requester to ensure that the content details are correct. At that point, it goes for the first round of review. The drafts are then sent to myself, and I take a look at it, make sure it is consistent with our marketing, our brand standards, and our department standards as well. And I provide feedback and edits. Oftentimes, it may go back and forth until we get to a more polished product. At that time, it goes to Mariana as the Community Services Manager for final review and approval. Once it has received all the appropriate approvals, it then is sent to the requester, our department webmaster, our front desk team, and the communications team for print and electronic distribution. So as you may or may not know, our department is responsible for approximately 35 or more department-hosted events a year. This doesn't include over 60 events in which our department provides support for. That can be anywhere from supplies, equipment, staffing, or marketing. And oftentimes, most of our events take anywhere between 3 to 6 months of planning in advance. In order to make sure that those materials are available in time, we take a look at in order to make sure that it is done on time, we take a look at the event components and we plan essentially backwards. We have our events and activities that are separated into 3 different levels. Our level 1 is, captures most of our events where it's a little bit specific on the audience. These are city-wide events and our regular weekly programs, events, and activities. This includes our family campout and our veterans events. Our second level, these are our city-wide events with slightly larger audience, and these also include our monthly and quarterly programs, events, and activities. And then lastly, and that includes our Park After Dark series. And lastly, our major events. These are our large city-wide events. They are annual with attendance of over 5,000, and that can include our tree lighting and our Independence celebration, which is quickly coming up. And here is just a variety of the different flyers that have been distributed over the past year since Jace has joined our team. this time, do you have any questions about our marketing process, whether citywide or department?
Thank you, Ms. Cal. Excellent report, Phil, and as well as Gabby. I really appreciate you sharing what we're doing to help communicate to the public. I'm always amazed when I run into somebody who says, "Oh, I didn't know about that." Gosh, and we have so many channels of communication now that are available to our citizens, and it's wonderful. And I appreciate all the efforts that go into that. I had a couple of questions for Phil on social media. Phil, which social media channel gets the best reach? Do you think?
Instagram by far.
Instagram.
Yeah,
and-
we're seeing the most growth on Instagram. It's really grown in popularity over the last few years. When we put together a reel, that gains a lot of interest. I mean, we're seeing 20, 30,000 views.
So those 30-second or 1-minute reels are
Correct.
just really get the exposure.
Correct. I don't know if Commissioner saw, we actually posted a few weeks ago about the cement pour at the Holland Road overpass. That was a really high performing reel as well. It was a little bit longer, but we received hundred or tens of thousands of views on that one.
Great. And you mentioned, Alert Menifee. Everybody needs that, and maybe I need to reduce my selections, but I received a phone call, a text, and an email on the Santa Rosa event, which is great. So I felt really informed about what was happening, and it helped dispel a lot of just uncertainty that was, sometimes gets out there on social media. Also, you mentioned the federal WIA.
Correct.
Yeah, and does that require registration, or does that just take every cell phone in a geographic area and send out?
No, you're correct. So it will to any cell phone that's in that geographic. All the providers are signed up for this to receive alerts. So whether you sign up or not, if we push it out, you're going to receive the alert, which is really a great resource for us in those emergency situations.
And the Genesis, am I saying that?
Genesis.
Genesis project, does that require registration, or is that also just an automatic?
No,
if the city wanted to send out an alert.
So Genesis is the system that we have for Alert Menifee. So
okay, that's the
so in these
system
sort of
that runs
incidents
it.
where we wouldn't do a WIA for example for the critical missing
Right.
person.
more
So
like
you would
for
have to be signed up
evacuation.
through Alert Menifee to receive those.
Okay.
And as I said, there's if you go to the city website, there's information on how to do that, but you will do that through the system. As you mentioned, there's a lot of different ways to receive those. So if you sign up for too many, you might get 9 alerts at once. But yeah, again, text, they'll actually call you. So if you don't have a cell phone, you don't have a computer, they will call your landline if you put in your phone number.
Awesome. I'll turn some time over to my colleagues. Any questions from any other commissioners? Last?
Not sure if this question is for Gabby or you, Phil, but do we have any partnerships with like the Menifee Union School District as far as reaching the children first before the parents? I've noticed that the Peach Jar emails, for a parent, they work well, but filtering down from the top seems to not catch the attention of the children, whereas the children are the ones that they'll kick and scream until I buy them something at Target. You know what I'm saying? And it would be great to see, especially at the Healthy Menifee events, the children being excited and telling their parents, "We're dragging you out of the house. We're going."
Sure, we try to capture and interact with the children at our events, and then we typically have flyers for future events. So that's most of the time when we get the face-to-face time with the younger crowd. Other than that, we do have to rely on Peach Jar to distribute our other marketing materials.
Okay. And that's all 100% electronic. There's no print.
That's correct. Other than that, it's really up to the discretion of the principal. So we do have connections and relationships with different principals at the schools, and oftentimes they will distribute additionally, add it to their newsletter, or leave it in their office.
Okay. And then how about for, I know that Christina Sandoval at the MUSD, that she works with foster and homeless children. Is there any special outreach to like those, that select group that might, to get them more involved so that maybe they'll get some more, enjoyment out of their situation? And
At this time, I'm not aware, but I will definitely take that name down and connect with her.
right, thank you.
Yeah, my first question is, how many people are receiving like the information that comes from Alert Menifee?
So we have about 3,000 registered right now through the app. But as I mentioned, that's something that we're looking to promote and increase over the next few months here. As actually part of Show Me Menifee, the chief chat is focused on Alert Menifee and encouraging people to sign up. We'll actually be out. I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but we're planning to be out at Independence Celebration doing signups for Alert Menifee as well. So we'll have a booth and we'll be giving out swag to encourage people to sign up. But you'll see a lot more promotion on that. So that's the goal, is to definitely increase that number.
And then I'm not sure if this even makes sense or not, but have you guys taken advantage of like the Ring, the Ring doorbell? Because they often will send out alerts, keep you informed of what's going on within your general area.
So we're fortunate because we do have a staff member that does live here in the city and is informed on that. The community, we try and monitor community pages. A lot of times, though, they're private, so you have to be a resident or they have special permissions to get access. But we do try and monitor those and stay apprised of kind of what's going on, because that's a lot of times how we hear about issues that are going on in the city, and then we'll work on promoting communications on our end to get information out for the people that are interested in that information.
Okay, but you're not able to like share information.
Correct.
through that
Next
avenue?
door is a little interesting because there is actually a government component to that we're signed up with. So they actually allow governments to come in, and we are able to actually reach every person that signed up for Next Door in Menifee. But I don't believe Ring has that option. I know that's something I think they're looking at, but that's something we're definitely being mindful of.
And then I know you listed several social media platforms that the city is connected with. By chance, because I know the social media sometimes can be very demographic specific, and I know a lot of younger people who will benefit from the information coming out from the city are on TikTok. Is that a platform that the city is considering using or that currently uses?
It's not one we're currently on. It's something we're kind of monitoring right now. There was actually just a bill that was approved by the president that's requiring the sale of TikTok. And so I believe they have a year to do that, or it could potentially be banned in the United States. So it's something we're monitoring. We do a lot of the same kind of content through our Instagram for that, but that's a great point. It's something that we've definitely been considering. We're just kind of looking at, when the best time to move forward with that would be.
And then my last question, sorry, I had so many, was in regards to Menifee Matters. I know you said it goes out to all of the residents in Menifee, but how are you guys including like the new developments? Because I personally have lived in Menifee since 2020, and I purchased a new development home, and I've never received Menifee Matters in the mail. So I'm not sure if it's because of like it's a new build or.
We'll get your address and make sure. We do have run that issue a few times, and so what we do is we're always in the process of updating the mailing routes. That's how the magazine is distributed. Is the routes in Menifee are continuously being updated, right, as new developments are coming in. So if you're not receiving, that's good to know. We'll get your address and we'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the excellent report. And I also know that you usually also have a link to the electronic version of Menifee Matters that you also put out on social media as well, too. So.
Correct, and that is always available online. It's citymenifee.us and just /Menifee Matters.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that report.
Thank you very much.
We're now at 8.3, professional service agreement with Adami Landscape, Inc. for routine park right-of-way and facility landscape maintenance and park restroom janitorial services.
We're going to lend Mr. Howell's expertise on this item.
Okay. Yes, we're bringing for review and recommendation to move forward to council for this for the May 15th. So just so everyone's aware, our maintenance contract we had for the last 5 years is expiring. So what we have to do is go out to bid again to be able to get the lowest, not even just the lowest, the best qualified contractor for that we think for the city. So in February, we went out to bid. We received 6 bids. It went through a very comprehensive review process. So we evaluate all all 6 of those proposals they gave us. Then we took the top 3 out of those. We interviewed them to see who did that, and then we took the top 1 out of that interview to move forward, and that was Adame Landscape that we felt there was multiple different people on this, and we all came to the same conclusion that we felt is the best contractor for the maintenance. So what it is on there, as you can see, it has it broken down to individual years. So they are technically, we don't leave it just a 5-year, we leave it open for ourselves, but it's up to a 5-year contract. It's 3 years with 2 years to be individual years that we can review. Those last 2 years that are in there, it gives the contractor the option. So we're locked in for the 3 years for that set price. And then the 4 and 5, they are able to increase, depending on the CPI, only up to the 5%. So if CPI like this last year was closer to 9%, it topped out at 5%. So as you can see, the contract is increasing over the 5 years, a little over $1 million. But when this contract started, we had little more than half, about half of what we have now. So this contract's going to include a lot of the right-of-way landscape that we'll be taking over and receiving. Also a couple more parks. So 5 years ago, we didn't have, what do we have, 11 or 12 parks, at the beginning of that contract. So the contract, that's why it's half, it is increasing. So, and as all you know, we have 116 acres of parks. A lot of those parks have restrooms. As I'll go to this next slide that shows all the different right-of-ways and park maintenance and that we do. So what we're doing is we are actually increasing a lot of the main thoroughfares that are going to be there, Newport Road, Menifee. So currently it's on a bi-weekly schedule. We're going to increase those to weekly, the ones that we can afford to do that. So all the CFD landscapes, this is the right-of-ways that I'm talking about. The parks are weekly. So the CFD right-of-ways, we're increasing what we can, where we can, to weekly service instead of the bi-weekly. We want it to look, we want Menifee, when people coming through, to look nice, Some of these landscapes are so big, so that bi-weekly is getting that every other week. Really, it's a big difference between the weekly and the bi-weekly. And then there's some areas that don't have, that are older LMDs and don't have as much funding. We're keeping those the bi-weekly, but they're smaller. They're not as large of an area. So as of right now, that's what we're recommending. We're also increasing service at some of the restroom facilities that for like Centennial Park, Audie Murphy Park, the parks that are Underwood Park, the ones that have the larger sports fields that are heavily used. So that's why we're increasing those services to 5 days a week. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they're used so much. There's thousands of people there a week, so those restrooms really needed that. And then it also includes all the facilities, and then any lots, the vacant lots and things that we have, so we can put that out on a quarterly, so that way we're not going to get for the contractor trying to find someone to mow those. So it's like Evans parcel, there's the one next to the library, there's parcels that the city owns. We make sure people are taking care of their weeds. We want to do the same thing and make sure we're taking care of our property as well. But that's the gist of what we're bringing forward to you guys. If you guys have any questions for any of this maintenance contract.
Questions, commissioners?
Does this include like the new parks that come into Menifee as well? Like, is there room to be like, oh, we added another
Yeah,
park?
so it gives the authority for us to be able to have amendments when we need it. We added parks that we know, like Sun City Green Spaces in there. We added parks that we know are going to be in there, but there are some parks that it could come in 2 years that aren't on there, but it gives us the option to be able to add those into them. We tried to look forward as much as we can, but some of these developments, it may take 5 to 7 years. Some of them are taking 30 days. No, they're not that quick, but it seems like they're taking real quick. So then we have to, we're adjust what we're doing with it.
Hey, Bryce, in this new proposed contract, we kind of locked in a price for park maintenance,
Correct.
right? So
Yep.
even if there's a new park, it's still at that locked-in rate, right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
At least for the first 3 years.
For the first 3 years, and that's why it maxes out of the year 4 and 5, and that was just like the current contract we have.
And also to note there, again, to emphasize that we do have a set price for year 4 and 5, those incremental changes. So we're not going up, 5% all 5 years, or, as Bryce mentioned, with inflationary pressures, CPI, wages going up, especially for a lot of entry-level workers. It was very good for us to lock in those slight increases even in year 4 or 5.
Excellent. Any other comments, commissioners? I'm amazed. Quartz Ranch is booming all the time. All the time with the are they playing soccer up there? I guess. It is busy on evenings, and parking is a little bit of a challenge around there.
It is, and yeah.
Especially because it does impact the bike trails, that the bike
Bike
lanes.
lanes, yeah.
Yeah, the bike lanes.
Yeah, we're looking into that. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we're looking into the parking there. We're looking either in agreement either with a different facility with the school district. We're working on that so we can move parking so it's not, because it is affecting that, but it is a heavily used park. So.
Well, this new contract seems well researched and certainly competitive, and the prices seem right. Do I need a motion to approve to send this to council recommendation?
We'd appreciate that.
Yeah. So can I have a motion to recommend the contract with Adami Landscaping to our city council?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, item 9, Community Services Department comments. 9.1, Director comments.
Just a few comments for tonight. Tomorrow, Friday, May 3rd, we're having Foodie Friday again at the MSJC Menifee campus. So if you're available, it's 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that's going to continue the first Friday of every month through October. So for those of you that might be watching at home, the dozen or so, please, or on Menifee TV, as Phil mentioned, please come out to Foodie Friday. Also, for those at home, we are still hiring for part-time seasonal job openings. So our aquatics program that we keep mentioning, we're have some successful interviews, and we have some people in the pipeline for new employees to start, but we still have a few spots we're trying to fill. So if you're interested in being a lifeguard, a water safety instructor, those are the folks that actually teach those swim classes that we're going to have. Or you want to become a community services specialist that supports either our aquatics or sports programs, please go to the city website and apply, citymenifee.us/jobs. And then also just a reminder, in remembrance of Memorial Day, city facilities, including City Hall and the Community Services Department offices, will be closed on Monday, May 27th, but we will be working and providing in support of our veterans groups having a Memorial Day celebration. So those are my updates.
Thank you very much. 9.2, Parks in Progress update.
Mr. Howell.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, is
Chair
the
has a
Memorial
question.
Day celebration for the community?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Do you have any more info?
I believe Ms. Mitchell will have that during our events
Okay.
updates.
All right,
I didn't want to steal her thunder, so.
Thank you, Chair. All right, Bryce.
Okay, so only change really on this is we took the parks that are open off of this slide. So nothing really as moving other than the Sun City Green Space. That's the most recent that obviously we've had the community meeting. Then we're bringing it here with the conceptuals for you guys. So that's really the only one that is actually in design, that's moving forward. Legato, again, is in the plan review of that. Hopefully, Lennar will start that moving forward on that project. Cimarron Ridge, Catalina, we're looking through conceptuals in that. And once it's ready with these ones like Catalina, we are seeing different things that are coming through. We will bring it to commission as soon as it's ready for you guys. And that's all I have for Parks in Progress.
Thank you. 9.3, Solid Waste and Recycling update. Ms. Jones?
Good evening, Commission. So I have a few updates for solid waste and recycling. Menifee Recycles activities. We had a booth at the Multicultural Festival in April. Upcoming booth events we are happy to be a part of will be the Senior Health Fair, Banner Village Park opening, and we'll also have a presence at some of the Moonlight Markets. We've also, I thought it'd be good to highlight the grant award and program reimbursements we've received so far this year. And then in light of us kind of covering some outreach efforts for different programs tonight, I thought it'd also be beneficial for commission to kind of see highlights of some of the Menifee Recycles programs under residential and commercial activities. So as you can see here, we've kind of built up a good array of outreach strategies to reach a community about the state mandate and how to be better recyclers, and even giving information on how to become a composter. We have a couple of assistance programs for both residents and businesses, which are still, the business program still active. And there are free consultations available for businesses looking to get their recycling programs off the ground. So I just thought that'd be a good highlight. And we routed 13 illegal dumping requests for the month of April.
Thank you for that report. Ms. Jones, any questions from commissioners? Okay, thank you. Moving on, 9.4, Recreation Division update.
Good evening. Yes, so this is our attendance and revenue update for the month of April. I know that the last time we had a canceled meeting, it was requested for the previous month information to be provided as well, so that was provided to you separately. But this is for the month of April. So one thing I'd like to point out is as the weather is warming up, you'll see an increase in our athletic field usage as well as our picnic shelter rentals. Those things are really ramping up, especially with some of our newer parks with some of the amazing amenities and the shade structures. So that has definitely will continue to grow as the weather gets warmer. Moving on to some of the recreation programs that we have offered in the next month, the Case Anacero Senior Center still has a number of workshops and activities available for all of our senior residents. We are starting another 6-week program of our Walk with Ease program, which was a partnership with the National Recreation and Park Association, targeting our senior community to help prevent diabetes, heart disease, things of that nature. So really excited to keep that moving forward. This Saturday, not this Saturday, May 11th, we have our next upcoming Veterans Workshop. It is going to be hosted by Pastor Aisha Sharp from Leadership Ministries to talk about leadership amongst our veterans communities. So we hope that people are coming out to join us at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the North Annex. And then Lazy Creek Recreation Center has a number of youth programs kind of coming to a close as our school year is coming to a close. So our Tiny Tots graduation is going to be taking place on May 29th. Commissioners, you're welcome to take part of this if you'd like. It's a very exciting moment for our preschoolers. And then we also have our Teen Awards Banquet, which is going to be also on the 29th in the evening at the Case Anacero Senior Center. And then also, not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after that, May 18th, is our annual youth fair that is going to be at Lazy Creek. Lots of fun, entertainment, live entertainment, as well as resources available to families and youth of all ages. And last but not least, our summer programming. So our registration for all of our summer camps and our aquatics program began this Wednesday, May 1st. It was very eventful for us. So a number of camps ranging from our all-day camp to our Tiny Tots camp to our specialty camps. Residents came out for us looking for things to do this summer. So registration is still open and available. Some of our programs, I want to say some of our more popular ones, such as Tiny Tots and maybe the full day camp at Lazy Creek, are either full or at near capacity. But there's plenty of other opportunities through our contract class program as well as our specialty camp programs. And then as far as our aquatics, we're really excited to get this information out to the public. Our brand new summer aquatics program at Paloma Valley High School. Sessions are 2-week sessions starting June 17th, going through July 25th. Again, focusing on that learn to swim, wanting to focus on water safety, making sure that our youth have the skills they need to navigate the swimming pool. And then we'll also have some opportunities for recreation swim and lap swim as well. Pre-registration is required required for all three of these opportunities to utilize the pool at Paloma Valley just because space is extremely limited. It is a high school pool, which is typically designed for usage like water polo and physical education. So the shallow end of the pool is not as big as we'd like it to be. But we are excited about being able to offer these programs in order to, again, increase water safety awareness and making sure that our youth has the skills they need to navigate the pool. More information is available on the city website, cityofmenifee.us/aquatics. There you can find the parent handbook. You'll see our pool rules, as well as definitions for each of the different levels of Learn to Swim, starting from level 1 through 4. So again, we're really excited about that. And so far, registration has been going really well for us. So again, first year, and we'll see how the summer goes for us, but we're excited about it. So that concludes my recreation update. If there's any questions.
Questions, commissioners? I love the water safety campaign. At the same time, we're kicking off our first aquatics program in the city. I think that's excellent. So let's go on to, oh yes, go ahead, Chair.
Sorry, I was curious, how has the Walk with Ease program been going? Because I know that's a newer one.
Yes, so it's a relatively newer program, and I want to say we average between 10 to 15 walkers in the morning. We're currently, I think after this May session, we're going to put it on hold until we get into the fall again, just because of the heat in the summertime. And in the fall, we're looking to expand not just at the Case Sierra Senior Center, but also targeting maybe some of our parents that are involved in the preschool program at Lazy Creek. So kind of giving them an opportunity while their children are participating in youth programs, they can participate in healthy exercise and walking. So definitely looking to expand that in the fall.
Thank you.
I just want to add that the Lazy Creek program, really love that. My daughter has been, since we moved out here 6 years ago, every year she goes to a camp. She was telling me this morning she's going to be in a yarn, I think, camp, and then another one is a science camp. So she's 8 years old. She's really excited. And it's just a great thing for the city.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Bill.
And I also appreciate what you've done with the aquatics program here in the city, and let's go swim. Thank you.
Thank you. 9.5, go ahead.
All right. If I can get the presentation back up.
This is special events update.
Yes. So special events, we're entering into our busy season. So almost every single week from here until the fall, there's something going on for everybody. So starting off this Saturday, we have our annual Senior Expo and Wellness Fair that is going to be taking place at the Sun City Civic Association from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we're encouraging not just our active adults to come out and join us, but families, people who are just looking for resources for both themselves or their family members. There's going to be over, I want to say it says over 40 exhibitors, but we're actually over 50 exhibitors at this point. Free giveaways, free lunch. It says for the first 150, but I believe because of sponsorships, we've been able to up that to free lunch for the first 200 residents in attendance. So encourage you to get there early, and come out and join us. And then following that, the very next week, we have our Digital Art Affair, which is actually a partnership with both our cultural arts programming as well as the Menifee Arts Council and Santa Rosa Academy in order to promote some of the students' short films, productions, and digital media. This May 17th as a part of their senior programs or their senior projects are going to be showcased here at the Case Sierra Senior Center on Friday, May 17th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So we encourage you, if you're available, to come out and join us and really see what the talent these youth have when it comes to digital media. Definitely better than I could do. This is my PowerPoint. Moving on, we have Banner Village Park grand opening and movies in the park. Although the park has been open to the public for some time, this is our opportunity to officially do the ribbon cutting ceremony and celebrate one of the newest parks in our community. So this is going to be taking place on Friday, May 24th, 7 p.m. The movie will begin at dusk, and the ceremony, I believe, is scheduled to start at 7:30 p.m. And we hope everybody's ready to come out and join us. And I believe the splash pad will also be available for use as well. Moving on to Memorial Day. This is on Monday, May 27th at 10 a.m. The ceremony is going to be taking place at Wheatfield Park, right in front of the Veterans Memorial Monument. And it is going to be filled with special presentations, guest speakers, our typical remembrance message, and a flyover at 11 a.m. There's also going to be additional resources available for residents and veterans at this event in order to make the most of this this opportunity to gather in remembrance of our people who served. Moving on to our summer programming, we've got a number of activities, both moonlight markets, movies in the park, and our Go Skate Day leading up into our independence celebrations. So all of this is kind of encompassed in our park after dark, because as we know, it gets darker later in the day, so there's lots of opportunities for residents to come out and join us and participate in any of these activities at some of our parks in and around the city of Menifee. Our first moonlight market is going to be a rock and roll concert. So it's going to be taking place at Centennial Park on May 31st. And it is, we have the band Journey Through Time, which is going to be playing some classic rock. So come on out, bring your dancing shoes and join us. We will have food vendors, craft vendors as well. However, there is not going to be a movie at the Moonlight Markets this year. We're trying to separate Moonlight Market into more of a concert venue, and then our movies in the park solely focusing on movies. So that way, if you're there for a concert or a movie, you know which one you're going to get. So our next Moonlight Market is going to be on June 14th, and that's going to be at La Ladera Park, and the theme is around the world. So we have El Pachuco Band that's going to be playing for us that evening. So again, encourage everybody to come out and join us. And then our two movies in the park is going, aside from the Banner Village Grand Park opening, is going to be on our next one is going to be June 21st, also at Go Skate Day, which is going to be at Audie Murphy Sports Park Audie Murphy Ranch Sports Park. And it's going to be a combination of the Go Skate Day, which is going to be free activities and free access to the skate park, celebrating all things alternative sports, and then ending with a movie in the park. And then also both the movies on July 19th and June 21st are going to be community choice. So we encourage residents to visit our special events website to select their choice for the movie, and then which movie gets the most votes will be what we show that day. And last but certainly not least, we have the return of our Independence Celebration, which is a co-hosted event with Lake Menifee Women's Club, coming to us on June 29th with a parade, starting off with a parade at 4 p.m. and also fireworks shows starting at 9. We do have live entertainment that's going to be provided by Stone Soul, which is kind of a Motown top 40 kind of band, and so we're excited about that. And if you know of any organizations that you participate in that would like to be a part of our parade, we encourage you to go to the Lake Menifee Women's Club website and submit your application early, because we'd like to have as many participants as possible in the parade, and hope that you guys can come out and join us. And I believe that concludes my report on special events. There's lots of them.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. That's wonderful. Will we have the short bus for the parade on at Menifee 4th of July?
Are you talking about the RTA trolley?
Yes.
Our plan is to have the RTA trolley there, yes.
Awesome. Okay, that was a lot of fun at Fall Festival. Okay. Let's see, 9.6 Capital Improvement Program Update. Mr. Howell?
All right, yes. Okay, so AMR Buildings, which is the Ranger Station and ticket booth, we've had a few things that we've had to adjust. We're hoping this is our final plan check that we can get, so we can go out to bid for that. We had to move a little bit of things on that, and then we could actually go out to bid with, like, we have the buildings material itself, but we're waiting for the construction for the utilities, and we're working with that. Evans Park North is still going in to, it's still in environmental. So far so good. And then we'll be able to see from there what we can build on, what's available and what we can actually use the land for, what we design, but obviously we want to make sure what we want, we can actually build on the land. And then I'll go over if you know, the Gale Webb restroom, we took that to council a couple weeks ago. they recommended that we look into, it was a pit station that we brought to them, look into see if we could find any grants. They gave us 60 days. So in the end of June, we're taking that back to council as a discussion item for giving a couple options that we have found. It's harder to find some grants, but we're still looking into those, and we're not throwing that out the window, but we're coming back with some options for council to look at. And then once we have that, we can bring that to you guys. Once we have all those options, we're still trying to get some prices and different things that we can do there. Central Park Amphitheater, as you can see there to the right, the piles are going, the footings where those guys are under are 30 feet deep that are going to hold the amphitheater up. And then it's good to actually see things starting to build up. These piles we're anticipating to pour those next week. So we're actually going to start pouring concrete and getting things moving. And then the back building is behind where those guys are. That's the storage facility that's going to be there. And they're going to start tying in the steel and getting ready for that. So over the next few weeks, we'll be able to start pouring foundations, and possibly we'll start moving up here sooner than later. And then that's really it on these slides. I just wanted to go over a couple of them. That's why I was skipping over that we're on there. So if everybody knows, this last week we did the community, La Piedra Community Center. We had a good turnout there at the library. I was glad to see that people, and if everybody was there, you can see the boards were there with different styles and what we wanted. And it between that everybody there so far, it's kind of leaning towards what it's helping us out. It's not like a mixed message of everything. So, but there's still the survey going on. It closes next Tuesday, the 7th. I think it's Tuesday, correct? Is that the 7th? Okay. I know it's the 7th, but I just want to make sure that's a Tuesday. So we're really trying to push that to get more opportunity to the public, and then we're going to close that, and then we're going to move forward and start designing, the facility. We'll bring that obviously back to you guys once we have what we want to lay out into that facility and what came back. You guys had asked for a little conceptual of what we're doing at the Peterson Dog Park. So as you can see, the dog park there on the left, it's about 11,000 square feet combined for the old one. So what we're doing is adding about another 5,000 square feet for the larger one. The small dog park, we have the opportunity to make it bigger, but a lot of the times those are the little dogs, so this won't really be used. So that's why we're going as far as we can for the large dog park. What we're going to do is add new benches. It'll actually have a new entrance to it, so they won't be next to each other. So a new amenities there. As you can see, we'll have the tunnels, the bridges. We're going to have new dog fountains there at the park.
Can I rent a dog to take to the park?
You want to go?
I have some friends that are just excited about this project.
It'll help, and just giving that bigger space for the dogs to be able to run around. It's nice. So, and then I'll move forward. If I can get the PowerPoint back up, please. Okay, and then these are the projects going into next fiscal year that we are taking with the budget for council's approval. And what it is you can see the community center again. What we're adding that $200,000 for is obviously we want to build up a reserves for it so we can actually build the center, but also with an actual project, when you have funding in it, if we run into a matching grant or something, at least we're prepared for that is what we're looking for, because that will cost. That facility obviously is going to cost, but we want to be able to. It's good to anticipate anything and be ready for any kind of grant we can do there. The display sign there at the senior center that's been around for years, it hasn't worked in a couple years. So what we're trying to bring forward it was we brought to the CIP workshop last time a few weeks ago to council is to replace that. So that'll have all the advertisement, the flyers that we make, anything that's going on for the community will definitely be there. And that is a heavily used right there on Newport Road, so a lot of people will see that. Also is the Sun City Boulevard that's right in front of the Cherry Hills Golf Course that's there. Right now it's just DG. We put some DG temporary in there until we can get it designed. So we're about 98% done with the complete design for that. And then what we did is, as you can see those plants there, so this is it's a non-maintenance is what we're trying to do. So those plants right there, those are all three of those are actually metal. So it's an art that'll go in there. So they'll look realistic, but it's also an art too. So it's not supposed to look exactly 100% real, but that way, almost no maintenance on there other than weed control that we can do in there. But what we're doing is we got the price back, so we're going to want to do construction with that. It's a little over $100,000, so we needed a little bit more funding. Before was what we asked for before was just the design of that. And then Banner Village, Councilwoman Sobek had recommended we add for a playground there at Banner Village where the splash pad is. Splash pad will be opening up here within the next week or so. We're starting to work on it. The guys started yesterday, but during this time it was closed. They were recommending because there was no playground there. But that was the trade for the splash pad instead of the playground for the developer. The splash pad actually cost probably double than what a playground would have cost them. So it was good, at least they did that for us. But what they're recommending is a playground. It's unfunded, we don't have funding for it right now, but with that we can look forward to grants again, just like we did with Lyle Marsh Park. Game Time puts on some good grants that we could look into, but a lot of those aren't till the fall time. So once we move forward on those, we'll start looking at that. And then the Quail Valley, the LMD Zone 37, fence replacement. Again, it's unfunded, but was recommended we put a placeholder onto the CIP, so we're ready for that when we can figure out the funding and what we want to do on that trail to replace the fencing. That's all I have for CIP. If you guys have any questions.
Any questions, commissioners? All right, let's go on to 9.7, Maintenance
Okay.
Division report.
So we are working hard. And I'll show you on the next slide. We're trying to change things just a little bit for you. So as you can see, we had 313 work orders submitted for the parks, 300 of those completed. 6 of those were submitted by, we have some residents, and then we still have 13 that are in progress. Now, a lot of those are actually, some of them are 6 months old, and it's like, wow, that's a long time. So what it is we have multiple, one for John Denver Park. The slide was broken there, so we actually have a delivery date here in May. We're finally receiving that slide, but it's taken 6 months for us from the manufacturer to get that slide, as well as Spirit Park. There's the teeter-totter, the large, that's been gone for about 4 to 5 months as well. It's the same thing. We're waiting on that. We have most of that, but we just got confirmation. We're actually receiving the rest of that next week. So both of those playgrounds will be put back together, which is nice. But that's the problem we're having. We can only buy from one. It's that manufacturer, and sometimes they're taking up to 6 months, and it's frustrating for us. But there's not much we can do. We can't put another slide from another manufacturer on there. You lose warranty issues, safety issues, things like that. You're just not allowed to do that. So that's why a lot of those, there's multiple of those work orders from residents, which is good. And then we let them know. We discuss it. We'll send them an email, and they're grateful for that we're aware of the slides or anything missing, and we'll do that. So far we had, it's actually that was a little off there on the 69. We've had actually probably about 300 trees trimmed in this last in the month of April through the Audie Murphy and everything on our regular tree schedule. So around tax season is usually a good time to start pruning right before everything's starting to bloom and come through. So there's a rule of thought for you if you ever want to think when a good time to trim your tree right in the spring times, right around your taxes are due. Maybe go take some anger out. No, don't do that. No, just so that's a good that. So if I can move forward onto this, so what we did, you can see on the left, is 49% of those our work orders are the park maintenance. But if you look on the right, it's only 40% of the time. So some of the things, and it'll start moving as each month you'll see. But we just wanted to be able to show you that, yeah, we might have something that's 14% of the time, but or 14% of our work orders, but it's taking a little longer to do something. So that, I believe Commissioner asked something similar to this before. So that's what we're able to do. As now with our new work order system, we're able to start to compile this info to be able to see how long things are taking. You can see the council chamber is less than 1%, but it's taking 6% of the time. There's different things. Yeah, it might only be one work order, but it may take you 3-4 hours to complete, instead of just an inspection that's on there. And then also we had 323 park visits. And then we had the school outreach. We reached about 250 students with our park rangers. We just completed our park ranger interviews. So hopefully we will have another park ranger to help with that here real shortly. And that's all I have for maintenance, if you guys have any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate the report. I'm glad to hear we're going to get another ranger. I'm sure that's well needed. Any comments or questions, commissioners? Okay, thank you, Bryce. Appreciate that. Okay. Item 10, commissioner reports on committee activities. Commissioners, anything you'd like to report on your activities in the last 2 months? Go ahead, Laz.
All right, so let's see. We started off with the Spring Fest. Well, I'm sure there were some other events that maybe I missed, but we attended the Spring Fest with our children, and it was a ton of fun. The attendance was great. That one was it was very festive and very exciting. The egg hunt was a bit wild, but all in all, that was a very fun time. And then we had the Multicultural Festival, which was also a very good time. Kind of makes me feel a little bit bad about my lack of culture, but very, very entertaining. The performances were beautiful, and there was just a lot of colors and excitement there as well. Menifee Better Together. I mean, you can't really say too much good stuff about coming out and serving the community and serving your fellow citizens, and that was just it was a wonderful event. And my daughters and I, we went and did the flower pot. We made flower pots with the Girl Scout Troop 354, and they did an absolutely amazing job at the process and the project, which was very cool. And then today, we had the National Day of Prayer event, which was it was very nice. And so that's pretty much it. One thing I do want to mention is that I had planned on attending the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans event, and I was unable to do so. And so I just wanted to give a proper welcome home to our Vietnam veterans, and so thank you.
Thank you, Laz. Anyone else? Tiara?
I just wanted to highlight the upcoming teen nomination for the quarter. So that's coming up. Actually, tomorrow I go and vote. So I'm always looking forward to that. This is the second year, and every time I get so giddy because I'm shocked that young people still are as active and doing as much work in the community as they are. So I just wanted to highlight that because that's upcoming.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else? Bill?
Oh, yeah, I was at the public forum for the community center, and I agree it was a great turnout. Very impressed with the consulting team that the city hired to do this, and looking forward to seeing what happens there and having a community center by the Menifee Library there. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And I also was able to attend Spring Fest and volunteer some time there at the, I took my life in my hands at the egg hunt, but it was a lot of fun. And also I got to attend Multicultural Festival with my wife. I really enjoyed that too. And again, Menifee Better Together, I really want to thank this community services staff for supporting that wonderful event. I heard the numbers somewhere around 550 to 600 participants, and wow, your follow-up video you just put out this week was awesome. The kind of the recap. So great job on our communications team for getting that out so quickly. It was nice, but wonderful events, and I plan to be at the Senior Health Expo this Saturday, but wearing a different hat. So, okay, thank you so much. Any item 11? Any future agenda requests, commissioners? Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, now that field allocation policy is coming up the field allocation, let's call it event, for the football and soccer and those fields. I was kind of, I've actually heard a bunch of grumbling. There's some stepping on toes between organizations that are passing the fields over at, a given time, 6:30 p.m. That seems to be kind of an issue. Another item that's not necessarily an issue, but something that I'd like to bring up as far as the allocation policy goes, would be, something that would be for special needs children or special needs adults that may or may not live in our city, but that do get priority over the organizations that, may have citizens, up 70%, I think is our number. That regardless of the percentage of the special needs groups, even if they're, let's say, a group within an organization that does have a separate non-special needs. just so they can be prioritized. So I'd like to make a motion to discuss and have an agenda item to discuss the field allocation policies. And I know that there's some people that would like to come in and also share some thoughts on this one as well.
Okay. Any comments, staff, on that?
When's the last time we reviewed the field allocation policy?
Fall or so?
Yeah, last year. So we could possibly do that again. If there's a second for Commissioner Peterson's request, we can do another update on our current allocation process and then see if there's any comments from the commissioner or public on some of these issues that have arisen.
I second that.
Okay, second by Commissioner Sanchez.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have future agenda items? I know the City Council received the Valley-wide Parks update recently.
Yes, if I can get that. There you go.
Yeah,
So just an update on one of our future agenda items. So the City Council did have a meeting on April 17th where they did review some options on moving forward with an annexation of the Valley-wide Parks. The first step that was recommended by our city staff, City Attorney's Office, is to do a fiscal impact analysis for that annexation to look at not only what the current cost might be to provide those services, but what would that impact be to the city? So because there's the Valley-wide does collect property taxes to provide the basic maintenance for the parks and the landscape, very similar to the contract that was just presented for Adame. They also use Adame. But there's other things that they do provide that aren't covered by those property taxes, like some recreational programs, running the Marion Ashley Center. They have their own events that they run. So if the city were to absorb those things as well, what does that impact to the city and spreading out our team here to cover all those items, and then also looking, doing a condition assessment of what the current conditions of their maintenance. We've heard from the public that some of their maintained areas are not quite at our standard, or some of their facilities are older than ours. A lot of our facilities are newer, like Wheatfield Park is much older than, say, Audie Murphy Ranch Sports Park. So what's the current condition, and what would the fiscal impact be to maybe do some improvements that are needed over there over time? So City Council did give direction to staff to do a request for proposals, very similar process as we did with to get a landscape contract. So that's already been released to find a consultant to help us with that fiscal impact analysis, looking at those different things, not only the current property taxes that are being collected for, and are those adequate for the proper maintenance, but also what kind of capital improvements might be needed at the those facilities, and or what kind of fiscal impact would it be for the city to take over some of those recreation components that aren't provided through the taxes that they collect. So it's be a comprehensive analysis. Once we move a little further in that process, we're actually already getting inquiries, because the proposal, that RFP is already out there. We're already getting inquiries from consultants that do this type of work. I was doing some responses to that earlier today. And so once we are getting closer to awarding a contract, we'll keep the commission apprised as well as we move things forward to the city council.
Excellent, thank you. And you had another update, or just
Yes, we just have on the other
tree,
two remaining future agenda items, the city holiday tree. We did include that in our fiscal year budget for 24-25. So once that budget is approved by city council, as long as that item makes the budget, then we'll bring an update back to this commission to explore some different options. I know we've had a discussion about that before. Also, I failed to mention during my director's update, but since I'm talking about budget, I do want to remind the commission and the community that the city council in 2 weeks, on Wednesday, May 15th, is doing a budget workshop. So that's Wednesday, May 15th at 4 o'clock. So if any of the commissioners or community members would like to attend that workshop, we're going to be talking about the citywide budget and what that's looking like moving forward. Just as a reminder, the city did adopt a 2-year budget, so we're currently in the middle of that 2-year budget. We're completing fiscal year 23-24 and moving into fiscal year 24-25 starting July 1. So that's also available. And then we're also putting on the schedule to look at the Heritage Park concept in the fall.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments, questions, commissioners? Okay, it is 7:38. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.